You want to know what happens next with Bitcoin price on this Bitcoin chart? Me too. In this video, we're going to break it down. We're going to visualize the targets. We're going to talk about all targets to the upside, to the downside. We're going to integrate what's going on in the world, what's going on in the headlines. And I can't say this enough. Technical analysis, especially most recently when it comes to Bitcoin and the crypto charts, has never been so reliable and consistent. And this is in a world where we just go to Google and these are the headlines. Stocks fall sharply as bank fears consume global markets. Stocks plummet. Credit Suisse turmoil. It is bad right now. And right now we see US dollar currency index cruising to the upside. We see the stock market on the daily chart cruising to the downside. And Bitcoin right now, if we look at the daily chart, kind of just consolidating, doing its thing after a 30% plus move to the upside in a matter of 4 days. You would be hard pressed to go back recently on Bitcoin charts and find a move like that. This is insane with everything that's going on in the world. But so it is, the charts are so reliable and they allow us to just have such a strong, consistent roadmap in front of us. And I want to discuss all of the targets on Bitcoin right now. So hit the like button for me, everybody. Hit that subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And let's just do this. So before we even talk about the targets, I just want to note, there's a lot of people out there, it's like technical analysis doesn't work in this environment. There's too much going on. But I just want to just show you real quick, and I'm not playing a clip of this. This was in bottom of the bear market in 2018 in December. This is me charting, speculating, technical analysis. We were just looking at speculatively the next bull market and then back down to the bear market that we currently just survived. And this is what the chart looks like. So I charted it back here, and this is how it played out. Almost perfectly. And it's not because I'm anyone special doing anything special with these charts. It's just because structure really works. Even in a world where so much happened during this time. Do you all remember March 2020? And the technical analysis still works. It's a roadmap. It's a guide. It's structure for the emotionality that really just lives within the world and within markets. That's all it is. And so when we start zooming in on the charts and we find ourselves on this daily chart, so it is the structure amidst all of the headlines continuing to act just as reliably as that video that I did in 2018. I'm not patting myself on the back or anything, but when I sit here and I have confidence in these charts, it's just because I've been doing this for over 5 years on YouTube, and it consistently just keeps surprising everybody, including myself, how reliable it is. So let's talk about this now and let's look at targets. We can first note that this happened. This is such a big deal because we just looked at around 24 hours ago what was potentially getting ready to happen. Check out this quick clip. So right now, technically, it's putting in a higher high in this higher high trend line. So naturally, from a technical analysis perspective, there might be some resistance here. What's so interesting to me, so we looked at resistance, the possibility for resistance, kind of a warning on the screen as Bitcoin was pumping, and just it was a very nice move. We were very much enjoying this move. It seemed like it came and went so fast. But look at this resistance on the daily chart. Look at that daily wick. Now let's consider what is next now for this happening. While we were anticipating this potential resistance at the very natural upper trend line resistance area, we also just noted and watched the fact that on the weekly, and this is more of a zoomed out perspective of resistance confluent with that upper trend line, on the weekly, we have the 200-week moving average. Bitcoin contesting with that on a zoomed out chart, right? That could take a little bit of time for Bitcoin to really pop above. Now, all the while that's happening, we go to the monthly chart, Bitcoin on the monthly just grappling with the 50-month moving average. So Bitcoin on the zoomed out macro look, right, of its journey from bear market to bull market is really hitting just a key macro resistance area, let alone the fact that it was hitting this upper trend line, this higher high resistance. So all that to say, resistance makes sense. But what's next? This is what I'm watching in terms of what's next. And I first want to just consider, and let me just change this. Let me go over here. This is another daily, and let me change it to a 6-hour. I just want to consider for a minute the case for a breakout, a continued breakout for Bitcoin. I'm not saying I think that's going to happen, but we are at the upper trend line region, and we should consider that, right? Maybe some narratives change. Maybe tomorrow's a very green day after Bitcoin just is sideways on the 6-hour. What would the move to the upside look like? Let's discuss that. Now, first things first, you do notice this brief moment of consolidation on the 6 hour. Very similar to kind of what happened back here at the last time it was testing the upper trend line. Bitcoin trended down after having a period of consolidation. And we're starting to see similar structure even on the RSI, right? Overbought, and just kind of cooling down. Are we going to trickle down to oversold? That's case for the downside. We're going to look at support in just a minute. But case for the upside. If Bitcoin actually just pops right back into overbought, rallies to the upside, what does that look like? For me on the daily chart, obviously, number one, we'd be looking at resistance. Once again, around $26,000. It's the upper trend line. But if we get the breakout, it's really $26,000 to $30,000. It's this entire region right here. I'm allowing Bitcoin to break through, put in some price discovery, and at some point along that line, kind of throw back to the trend line. And that is where I'd be evaluating, well, is there support now at that area, 26,000, slightly above 26,000. So in the midst of a Bitcoin rally, what's a throwback happening? And I have this space up to around $29,800 or so, right around $30,000 for Bitcoin to do that rally. Now, a lot has to happen for Bitcoin to do that, especially with everything going on right now. I think it does make sense for Bitcoin to cool down now and probably take a break from putting in a rally like that. But I don't want to just discount it and say it will never happen. We know it can happen. Bitcoin already making an incredible move in this crazy, crazy environment that we're in right now. Let's talk about downside. I think it's important, especially because when Bitcoin starts falling, crypto starts falling, the fear just floods in, right? Even if it's like a 10% move, it looks terrible. But let's get some context. Bitcoin on this chart has been trading towards the upper region of this rising channel. We had this moment of a dip to the downside, 200-week move or 200-day moving average, target perfectly hit almost to the downside, popping back up. But that's about all the consolidation we have. Two areas that are just most meaningful for me. Number one is kind of a shorter term. If Bitcoin just doesn't even trade sideways, decides to fall now, swing low to swing high, we have a Fibonacci higher low area. It's just a support area to downside. The 618 around 22,000, just above 22,000. The 786 right around $21,000. That channel of support, it doesn't seem like that far away, but if we look at it price range wise, we're looking at a dip for Bitcoin of around 9 to 14% to the downside. That would be a total dip of from the swing high of around a 20% dip of consolidation for Bitcoin. And if we zoom out on the charts, it could look red, it could look bad in the short term, but just look at this structure. And this is in the middle of just crazy headlines in the world right now. This is in the middle of banks falling. And so that to me, obviously any red candles are never fun, but that to me is a very bullish signature of Bitcoin. Now, if things get really bad, and we always consider this, especially when we are within structure and there's a ton of room to the downside now. Remember, last time we traded at the lower end of this channel was back in like January. So to the downside, there's room, right? So it's the swing low of the bear market so far, all the way to the previous swing high. Bitcoin just 30% pump to the upside in the last days. It's this move. So swing high, back down to a higher low on the more of a midterm chart. Check it out. It's 19,800 down to around 17,900. Yes, it is 100% possible. And if we're looking at it, it is confluent, almost so confluent with this lower trend line and price range wise. And this is where things get they get bullish for me from a macro perspective. I know it's not a fun move because it's not going to be fun if it happened. 20% to the 618 line. And we're looking at 27%. That's from where we are right now. 27% to the 786 line. A total dip from the previous swing high, 30+% dip to the downside. Now, I'll say this. If that move happens, once again, even in a volatile world, Bitcoin continues to maintain its structure. Bitcoin continues to do things that it's just done over the years throughout cycles. Bitcoin putting in just a really nice picture of what a bear market low would look like, a really nice picture of what a bear market to bull market pivot would look like. And not only that, but this is within just the context of everything that's going on right now. A 30+% dip is just normal for Bitcoin on any given time, on any given chart, in any given year. So that's the structure. That's the setup that we're in right now. We have to really just brace for all of these things. We have to brace for impact to the downside, because right now the world is crazy, and we're trying to give it time and allow these things to play out, right? And there's a lot of fear in the markets right now. And so this cushion that Bitcoin has created to the downside of 30%, I think is so crucial. It is so huge, so important. Imagine if Bitcoin right now is just trending up at the lower trend line, and we're sitting at like 18,500 right now amidst everything going on, and Bitcoin's like ready to fall, right? We'd have way lower targets than what we're discussing right now. And we're talking about a higher low target. So this is big in my view. These are all the things that I'm anticipating right now, trying to be patient with everything that's going on. And this is going to be kind of a day by day, week by week thing. So everybody, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know if you're bullish or bearish. If you're long-term bullish or bearish, anything, let me know in the comments. Hit the subscribe and like. I'll see you in the next one. God bless.